And we have Mike Stoner on P1, Tom Jenkinson second, John Cox third, Alex Smith fourth, Dimitri fifth, Matthew sixth, Callum Hunter seventh, Colton Myers eighth, Richard Malden ninth, Sam Harper 10th, Freak in 11th, Jose in 12th, Mark Greenhow 13th, Alex McBride 14th, Daniel Staunton in 15th, Tim Ellis 16th, Luke Power 17th, Alex Dobsberger 18th. Danny Henny is actually in 19th. He's been promoted up a position. Stephen Taylor in 20th, Matt Strong 21st, Sam Watley 22nd, Laurie Smith 23rd, Andrew Sexton 24th, Barry Kemp 25th, Colin Moore 26th, Spanners 27th, and Alex Murafikani in 28th. And we have the lights on. Here we go. 5 lights. We have someone starting from the pit lane. And it is green light. Away we go. And a very slow start from whoever that was on the front line there. Dear, it's going to be multiple cars wide down into the first corner. But it does seem... Alex Smith sent it down the inside into turn 1. A benefit here of him finishing 16th means that he actually starts at the front here. And he already finds himself up, fighting for the first place. And it does seem that drivers have been able to make their way through the chute, up over the hill. Will they be able to consistently make it through here? We have seen multiple cars go side by side in the feature race, and look at that, so many F3 cars abreast right now. Who is that in the middle in the bright green livery, switching from one side of the track to the other? Thankfully he had plenty of track to do. Someone is off there. Mike Stoner is off. I believe that is Mike Stoner who led in this race. No, it's apologies, I can't see who it is at the moment. Who was that went off into the barrier? Just didn't leave the inside car a lot of room, and then Daniel Staunton came around the back of him there and did clip the barrier, but I think he's okay. And we'll get an update on who actually went out there. It was Tom Jenkinson who unfortunately lost control of the car in the first race through the toe. Now this time around fighting for the lead, lost control of the car there because he got tagged from behind. Probably left a considerable amount more room there, plenty of room for him to use, and unfortunately he has ended up on the wrong end of it there. But Alex Smith, who did on track win this race, win the feature race, finds himself in P1. Finds himself starting a lot further up the grid due to that grid penalty, that penalty that he got post-race. Is in P1 with Matthew Brittle in P2. Dimitri is in P3. John Cox 4th. Callum Hunter is 5th. Mike Stoner is 6th. Mark Greenhow 7th. And Danny Henny, who started in 19th, finds himself already up 11 positions in P8. Richard Malden is in P9, Colton Myers in P10, Luke Power is in P11. He's looking for redemption here after losing the win in the feature race earlier. As we can see there, look at that, multiple cars right, 3 wide there as Danny Henny has to go defensive, and we can see John Cox looking for the podium position here. They're side by side as they head into the toe. Mike Stoner there just slots in behind Mark Greenhow as Danny Henny holds, gains 2 more positions than Danny Henny on the attack, and we're not even 2 laps completed here. We're on the second lap and he already finds himself up into P6. An unbelievable start here. Who knows? I don't know absolutely anything here, guys. I said he was going to struggle to make up a lot of ground here, but he has put me wrong because he is already up 13 positions into P6, and I'm sure there's going to be more to come as well. As we can see in the background there, I think that is Rich Malden moving around, trying to find some clean air and maybe put off the drivers ahead of him, just to ensure that maybe force them into a mistake. But very, very close here. But all the while, these drivers, and Danny Henny finds himself in P6. He is allowing Alex Smith to break away ahead, and he's already 2.3 seconds ahead of the guys ahead. But it is just patience here for Danny. He already has that de facto win after being awarded it after the penalty from Smithy in the first race. And, well, a P1 and a P2 for him here, which is definitely on the cards. As you can see, he's already under the rear wing of Callum Hunter. And he's arguably too close, as yes, he has to lift out of the throttle there just to ensure he can tuck in behind, because you can catch the drivers over this crest, over this hill too early. And, well, are they going to be getting the benefit of the toe ahead? But you can see there, Callum doesn't have much in answer to the pace that Danny has there, and smartly slots in behind. Maybe he can utilise Danny in front of him and getting in the way of John Cox, who is continuing to fight for this P3 with Dimitri there. As he goes for a move on the inside. Was it too late? Oh, he nearly tags the back of Dimitri there. A bold attempt by John Cox, but not enough. And all that's done is allowed Danny Henny to close up sooner rather than later. And, well, Danny could be making the move here up into P4, into the top 4 at the end of this lap. Is he going to go for the move? He's going to go for a late break. Or is he just going to be patient? He is going to be patient here. But John Cox really wants that podium position. And, well, him getting past Dimitri and then trying to attack Matthew is definitely what he needs to do, because Danny Henny, you do suspect, is going to be preoccupying one of those podium positions sooner rather than later. And thankfully, it does seem that really we have only lost Tom Jenkinson at this moment in time. And that is a tremendous, tremendous achievement from everyone this evening, but we have not seen big crashes. There's still plenty of time. There are still many laps remaining, but so often do we see in normal iRacing officials big crashes here in the early stages of this racing. It's a true testament to the fair and hard but respectable racing that we have here in this Missed Apex iRacing Championship, as Danny Henny is doing the same thing again. He's got a much better exit than John Cox, and he's having to find himself some clean air to ensure that he doesn't get too close under the rear wing of John too early, and he's done it very well. But Callum Hunter is looking to make it 3 wide here, as you can see. John is going to have to go defensive, but he has to leave room. We have seen incident here already, and, well, Danny Henny swoops around the outside. He's going to have the inside onto the toe. Does he have enough? I do suspect he will, but John is slightly ahead technically. Is Danny going to be able to get him on the brakes? John leaves plenty of room. He does indeed, but he's still fighting this hard. He wants his moment. He's not going to make Danny take it easily. And, well, he just slots in behind there, and Danny finally gets the position. And I think Danny might have thought he had that wrapped up a bit sooner than he actually did, but he does now find himself up in P4, and John is now having to go defensive to Mark Greenhow and Callum Hunter behind. It's very close for those two, and, well, what that has allowed Dimitri... Oh, there's contact there, and that is John. John's gone off. Drivers are having to move out of the way. He's held onto the brakes there, and John, where it looked like it was going so well for him. What happened here? We said he had to go defensive. Was it his fault? Did he get tagged from behind? And he's gone a bit deep into the corner, and oh yes, he's just run a little bit wide. I think he's trying the cut back, a bit difficult to tell from the angle, and get a bit more on the apex. He's had to scrub a bit of speed off, and unfortunately Mark Greenhow, who did hit that apex very nicely, just ran into the back of him. It's a bit of a racing incident, but I think unfortunately for John, yes, the error definitely came from him going too deep into that corner. As Mark, who did make contact with John there, who does dive into the pit lane, so a real shame to John's, real shame and end to John's race here, but he will be able to get back out on track with that fast repair that is available here to ensure that drivers are able to compete to the end, as we have Sam Harper close in the background as well, trying to capitalise on that incident of Mark Greenhow and Callum Hunter getting caught in, as Danny closes up in on Dimitri and is looking for that P3. Such impressive driving here. I'd love to see his first lap, because at the end of the first lap he was up 11 positions, so maybe benefited from some carnage, but no doubt also positioned his car very well. There was a lot of slow starters at the start of this race. So most likely benefited from that as well. But he's closing down Dimitri there, as he's very close behind as well. As you can see, the fight for the top 5 with Mark Greenhow and Callum Hunter behind. You can see they're very close. Sam Harper, they're all bringing in Alex Dobbsberger, who's closing down as well. Rich Morgan in P9 and Tim Ellis in P10. Not a lot to separate those from the top 5. Look at that train. It's all aboard the Greenhow train at the moment. But for how long, as Callum is under attack from Sam, who did have a bite of the cherry last time around, and he's very close to him. But is he too close right now? He has Alex Dobbsberger behind, and he's actually going for the move down into turn 1. Sam is going bold, and he's trying to force Callum out of position, and maybe he's thinking, you know what, I can get the slipstream of Mark ahead. But all this is doing is allowing Alex Dobbsberger to close in behind, as it is Rich Malden and Tim Ellis as well. But as we head further up the track, we can see Danny Henny now looking to pick off P3 in Dimitri, and he's got it done before they even head into the corner. But we do know that outside line is very good. Is Dimitri going to fight this hard? No, he slots in behind and thinks, no doubt, of the bigger picture. and maybe he'll utilise Danny to try and catch him up to that of Matthew Brittle and fight for this last podium position, as Alex Smith does seem like he has the win in the bag here. No pit stop required in this sprint race, and we know how quick Smithy is after winning out on track and with that unfortunate penalty. I know I keep mentioning it, Smithy. I apologise. I know it's going to hurt, but yes, that is going to be, at least, as we said, this is your 18th hole. You're able to redeem yourself with this race win, barring a couple of errors maybe in the closing stages. I'm sure he has this in the bag. But Danny Henney is looking. Oh, there's a moment there for Matthew Brittle through the exit of turn 9, and Danny Henney wasn't expecting that, and he finds himself ahead before they even complete this lap. With the lap 5. As we are now approaching lap 6, and well, Danny, does he have enough, I guess, at the exit of turn 1, because he probably would have liked to have just owed Matthew, got past Matthew down into the outer loop to ensure that he would be able to break away from him in the middle sector, because Matthew, even though there may be a lack of pace in the corners, it is just full throttle from the exit of turn 1 all the way to the outer loop. And I guess, is Matthew going to go for a move here, or will he just slot in behind like we saw Alex Dobersberger do? As we can see drivers moving around quite a lot in the background there, utilising the slipstream. Matthew Brittle just he comfortably sits in behind. He knows Danny's quicker than him, and he gains an extra couple of attempts over his competitor Dimitri in P4 as they're fighting for that last podium position, as Sam Harper couldn't find himself getting past Mark Greenhow, and well, he is now just been overtaken by Alex Dobersberger, who is up into P6. He finished P2 earlier on, remember. He's been able to make some good ground here as well. Not as much ground as Danny Henney, who started in P19. He's now up into P2. We'll keep an eye out, of course, with 7 laps remaining in this race. We are halfway through this sprint race. We will see if Danny will be able to close down the gap of Alex, but for over 4.5 seconds at this circuit is very, very difficult to try and make up an overtake, as there was a puff of smoke there and a lock-up as Matthew Brittle has been overtaken by Dimitri there. Matthew Brittle, a lock-up. We saw a puff of smoke. He locked up into the boot, into the hill there, and that has allowed Dimitri to get through, and what it's also allowed is those behind to close up, as we can see here. The top 2 separated by 4.6. Oh, so there's a big crash behind, and who was that who went into the barrier? Someone just hit the barrier on the exit of the last corner, and well, what happened there? I'm not entirely sure what occurred. Here we go. Here's the replay. I saw it in the back. That is the replay from earlier on from Spanners. Or is that Spanners again? It does so show that he has a meatball. I'm seeing Spanners has a meatball. Am I getting this deja vu, ladies and gentlemen? I think Spanners is out of this race. He has a meatball. He's got a meatball. It's happened again, I think. I think it's happened again. Unbelievable, but I did see a crash in the last corner. We'll see if we can get a replay for you there, as yes indeed, that is Spanners parked up on the inside. Another technical issue for Spanners at exactly the same place, but we have racing out on track here at the moment, as we can see Alex Dobersberger all over the rear of Dimitri, who finds himself in P4, as with all of that, for some, I don't know what occurred, but Matthew Brittle is down into P6. Dimitri is in P4. He must have had an error somewhere, as Mark Greenhow has found himself getting up into P3, but there's side by side and there's contact as Mark Greenhow goes into a spin. Another incident there between the two of them. Well, for Mark Greenhow at this corner, and I think Mark Greenhow might have just... it's difficult to tell from that camera angle. I can't tell how much room was left by who, but I'm going to assume that really maybe it was just a bit too tight of room left there for Mark Greenhow on Dimitri. He did look like he was on the apex, but it's difficult to tell from that angle. But for the second time this race, Mark Greenhow has found himself making contact at the heel of the boot. But yes, Spanners has had a technical issue at exactly the same corner as we saw. So technical issues for Spanners there. I really thought that was I'd gone back in time and was looking at the feature race again, but confirmation that yes, he is in the pit lane, and he did crash there. But as we rejoin the racing on track right now, it is very, very close here. The gap at the front is 5 seconds nearly between Smithy and Henney. It does seem like that's a P1 and P2 as we're 3 wide. Here is Tim Ellis is thinking about making it 3 wide, but no, he thinks better and thinks about tucking in behind behind. But this battle is not over yet, as we know. Turn 5 is not where it ends. There's a snap across the front wing there from Andrew Sexton on Callum Hunter. Very, very lucky, but he didn't. As there's a slow mover on the left-hand side. I think that is a lap traffic. Yes, that's Tom Jenkinson, who crashed earlier on lap 1. Very, very good racing etiquette from him there. As all this is done is bring Daniel Snalterland in, and Andrew Sexton has a bit of fresh air for a little while as we move further up, as Sam Harper finds himself battling out for P4 as Alex Dobbsberger in all of that with Mark Greenhow and Dimitri finds himself capitalising on it, as you can see, leading this pack in the last podium position. Smithy, Henny and Dobbsberger in the top 3 positions. As all Sam Harper is looking, he's poked his nose a few times in this race from what we have seen, as difficult to tell if he's got damage on that front nose. No, he hasn't. I think that was just the glare of the sun there, as he's got a much better exit from Matthew there, who slightly clipped the barrier on the exit and lost a bit of time. It looks like he's maybe crabbing a little bit there, difficult to tell. Maybe that's just his steering, difficult to tell there. Whether or not he had a bit of crabbing with the damage, maybe potential damage from hitting that barrier. It does seem like the car actually is okay. Maybe it was just a bit of a moment there under braking under the rear wing of Sam Harper, as he finds himself under the rear wing now, down this back straight, as Dobbsberger leads Matthew Britt. As we can see, he leads Dimitri there, who is in P4, who's found himself caught up in an incident with Mark Greenhow. But Sam Harper looking for the move to retain this move on the inside, but as we've seen, that outside line works so often. You then have the inside line down to the next corner, but Sam carries the speed around the outside, and they're still side by side as they head into the toe, and Matthew Brittle has to back out. Very, very good defence there from Sam. That section of corners, that sequence of corners, as Sam touched the grass there, and that's allowed Matthew just to sneak up behind him. He's going to have to go late on the brakes around the outside and carry more track. We've seen incidents here already. Sam very tight to the apex there. They're still side by side. What a brilliant lap of racing this is between the two of them. They head through turn 9. Need to be careful on the throttle. Plenty of racing room left between the two of them, and maybe a bit too much from Matthew, but this isn't necessarily where the move always gets done. This is for the top 5 positions, by the way, as they make their way out of the last corner. Plenty of room left between them and the last barrier there, as Richard Malden is looking to close in on this battle, as you can see in the bright luminous yellow car there, and it's all about the exit through turn 1. Richard Malden is now within that toe. If these guys go side by side for the next corner, which I do believe they will, as we just saw them do the last lap, Rich is going to be straight in this, and of course not too far behind him is Andrew Sexton and Daniel Snalterland as well, being closely followed by Tim Ellis. And yes, we can see here Matthew Brittle is moving all the way to the inside, avoiding that middle line, as I suggested drivers do earlier on. And well, it does seem like Matthew Brittle has got this move done, has he? Sam seems to have conceded this one. He's not going to have an opportunity to go on the attack here. And yes, Matthew, with a brilliant lap of racing last time around, gains P5, but I'm sure this battle is far from over with 4 laps remaining. As Daniel Snalterland on the rear of Tim Ellis. He's been on the rear of him for quite some time. I think actually they changed positions last time around, actually, Daniel and Tim Ellis. But Daniel, we know he's not one to give it up easy. He's a racer. He wants to go at it. Is he going to have enough to get round the outside of Tim Ellis? We've seen many incidents there, as we can see the wash of understeer a little bit. It's very difficult to scrap off a lot of speed and stay on the inside there. They're still side by side through turn 9. It's all about the throttle application here. You think they're ahead at the inside, but on the outside you're able to get on throttle so much sooner, as Tim Ellis examples us there, and well, he stays ahead. Must I say, brilliant racing right now, by the way, for this sprint race. I think it's even better than what we saw in the feature race. A great layout, this track. While there aren't so many corners, shall we say, or hard braking zones, what it does provide wheel-to-wheel racing and multiple changes of position, as it does seem like that Tim Ellis and Daniel just went a bit wide there, and Tim did look like his F3 car had seen better days and better rides over that curb, as Daniel is fully taking advantage of that maybe little lack of top speed that he got out of the exit of turn 1 there. as we can see Andrew Sexton closing up in on Richard Malden, as Matthew Brittle is also coming under attack by Sam Harper as well. And Sam Harper does get back into P5 over Matthew Brittle, as we see Snorton gain the position on Tim Ellis and is up into P9. Richard Malden has been overtaken by Andrew Sexton, so a couple of changes of position there this lap at the end of turn 5, as we can see confirmation there. Sam Harper is ahead of Matthew Brittle. These guys have been swapping positions left, right and centre, and let's hope that it remains for the last couple of laps. But Sam is thinking about P4 as Dimitri looks like he's fallen into the clutches of Sam a little bit, as we have Richard Malden and Andrew Sexton. Rich going for the move down the inside. He's poked a nose. He's forced Andrew out of position there. He rejoins, and well, does Rich, is he able to utilise the error there of Andrew? No, he's not. It seems that it's very risky from Andrew there to keep his foot planted on the throttle to the floor there through the grass. It could have ended so badly for him. I mean, he's running wide there and he's had a very compromised exit through the last corner. Let's see, that's brought Daniel Slaughterland into this, and Tim Ellis as well. This is 4P7 as it currently stands. Andrew Sexton leads Andrew Malden there in P8 and Slaughterland in P9, Tim Ellis in P10. And it's going to be another drag race, another slipstream battle to the top of the hill, and at the end of turn 5 we have 2 laps to go. Alex Smith is leading, 4.4 seconds to Danny Henny. Alex Dobbersberger's in P3, Dimitri in P4, being chased down by Sam Harper, with Matthew Brittle not too far behind, as we can see drivers under the rear wing of others up ahead. We can see Tim Ellis under the rear wing of Daniel Snortland as they pull out to try and gain the slipstream of the cars ahead, who are also going side by side, as Rich regains the position from Andrew Sexton, as Andrew runs very wide there and is still holding on to the position. That threw Tim Ellis off a little bit there, I think, with him coming so wildly back onto the track, but they are still intact there. Sam Harper did indeed get past Dimitri at the end of turn 5, and he now finds himself up into P4. It's very close for the last top 5 positions there, P4, P5 and P6, as we can see. But we can see Rich Malden going defensive again to Andrew Sexton. Let's ride on board with him and see if he's going to be able to come out on top. We've seen incidents here. We saw Andrew Sexton one wide recently. He slots in behind. No, he's going for the move down the inside. Rich has to run wide. Daniel Snorton thinks about taking advantage here. And they touch wheels there, I think. And well, they slot in behind, and it's very, very close here. Look at them. One slight error and this could end in tears for these 4 drivers. They want to score some decent points here today. Still a few more rounds left in this championship as Daniel Snorton pulls out behind Andrew Sexton. He's thinking about making a move. He's going late on the brakes. Is he going to be able to make it stick? Oh, not quite, but they're still side by side, and now it's a battle for who will get Rich's toe. And yes, Andrew Sexton has been forced out, and now he's going to lose another position to Tim Ellis potentially. No, he slots back in behind Daniel Snorton. This has given Rich just a little bit of a breather for now, and a bit of a reprieve, as we can see Matthew Brittle is all under the rear wing of Dimitri, and he pulls to the inside as well. But it's Alex Smith who is leading this race. He has led from the very first lap. A brilliant race from him, and of course one that he, with the second race today, where he would have won out on track. Of course, an unfortunate penalty for him for too many incidents in the feature race. But he is going to win this with Danny Henny in P2 and Alex Dobbersberger in P3. But it's the battles behind that is more interesting at this moment in time, as Matthew Brittle has got ahead of Dimitri there, but it's still not over between them, as it is still not over here for P8 between Andrew Sexton and Daniel Snorton and Tim Ellis. Daniel Snorton is on the rear wing of Richard Malden. Now only a few more corners, as it did seem like Dimitri went for a send down the inside of Matthew Brittle into turn 5, but he hasn't been able to make it stick. But Smithy, around the last corner, wins the sprint race just like he did out on track in the feature race. A brilliant evening from him, but I was only soured by the penalty. Danny Henny up from 19th to P2. What a drive from him. Alex Dobbersberger in P3. He rounds off the podium. Sam Harper finishes P4, as we have Matthew Brittle in P5. Dimitri is in P6. We have Richard Malden in 7th, Daniel Snorton in 8th, Andrew Sexton 9th, Tim Ellis in 10th, and that rounds off our top 10. But let's speak to our race winner. A moment of redemption for Alex Smith. Redemption, Alex, redemption.
I've got good news and bad news.
Don't start that again.
No. I got 1x that race. I wanted to keep to 0, but I got 1, unfortunately.
Oh, well, that's 16 less than what you need, so it's okay.
12x in the first race.
Oh, apologies, the commentator who doesn't know how many incidents. I did think it was a lot. That's done. I might have to have a word with Spanners about that. That seems quite a light amount of incident points, to be honest with you. But really good race there, Alex. You took control quite early on. Good start from you. And yes, you can take solace. Well, you can take pride tonight, but you at least finished both races out on track first.
Exactly. That's 1.5 wins to me.
Exactly, buddy. Great evening, and we'll see you for the next round.
Cheers, Stuffy.
So, Spanners, I had a moment of deja vu. Don't know about you.
Oh, what? Mate, same corner, same position. I was fighting the same person. That fault hasn't happened in any other league during our practice sessions. Only during the race sessions on that corner against Barry Kemp. Curse you, Barry.
I think we need to have an investigation to what devices Barry has at his disposal. He clearly has something that switches VR headsets off when going side by side, or when you get within 1 second of him. But yes, obviously, really unfortunate.
Go and talk to the leaders and stuff. But from what everyone said, I've got loads of messages saying the commentary was a load of fun. Go and watch the replay where Barry took me out on lap 1 as well. So we were all just settling down to have like a consolidation race. Me, Colin, and Barry. Shame it had to end like that. But this time, I went straight into the wall to make sure I hit no one.
Yeah, it was a brilliant race out there throughout, and it has been an absolutely brilliant evening. I think this layout of Watkins Glen should remain on future iRacing Championships mistakes. Back Spanners. And here are the results of the sprint race there, as confirmed, our top 10 that we ran through. Smithy in P1, redemption for him after the post-race penalty. Mark Greenhow, 11th. Cameron Hunter in P12. Matt Strong in P13. Colton Myers in 14th. Mike Stoner 15th. Laurie Smith 16th. Luke Power in 17th. Not entirely sure what happened to Luke there, as we could see Alex McBride in 18th. Colin Wald 19th. Stephen Taylor in 20th. Frigg in 21st. John Cox in 22nd. We saw him lose his rear wing. Jose in 23rd. Barry Kemp in 24th. Tom Jenkins in 25th. And yes, those drivers out the back there, Spanners in particular, who we just spoke to. But guys, what an absolute pleasure and what a night of racing that was. I had a prediction that we were in for some entertainment. I thought we'd see more carnage, but fair play to every single participant out there today that it was fair, hard and respectful. And we saw a great battle for the feature race win. And we saw great battling throughout in the sprint race as well. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I hope you guys did too. We'll see you for the next one. I've been Stuffy, and this has been the Missed Apex iRacing Championship. We'll see you for the next round. Bye.